And he took my Yankee hat and he just started slapping me in the face with it.
From Bubba Ray Dudley smacking Sal Vulcano using his own hat to Soulja Boy getting into an argument with Randy Orton, the world of wrestling has seen some truly unexpected moments.
What are you talking about? I'll come to the WWE and smack the shit out you.
From backstage fights to Twitter feuds, we're looking back at the craziest times celebrities went head-to-head with WWE wrestlers. Let's start with the Bubba Ray Dudley and Sal Vulcano incident. This story centers around Bubba Ray Dudley, one half of the iconic Dudley Boys tag team, and Sal Vulcano, best known from the comedy group The Tenderloins and the hit show Impractical Jokers. What makes this moment especially interesting is that it was described in great detail by Sal himself. During a podcast, he shared the entire experience with such clear and intense storytelling that you could almost feel the real fear he went through.
I had fallen out of wrestling. I had watched like the first 10 years of like 85 like that, and then in 90 I gave it up, and all my friends, we had this beach house for the summer, and they were so into it. So 19 of us went to see this brawl at the beach, and we were waiting outside. It was like a 95-degree day, and we're online, and I didn't know anything about ECW at the time, and my friends were like, oh, that's Bubba Ray Dudley, he just pulled up in his car.
The setup is important to understand what happened next. This took place during ECW's prime years, a time when the promotion was famous for its hardcore style and wild fan interactions. ECW wasn't just regular wrestling, it was a full-on experience that could sometimes turn genuinely dangerous, with wrestlers known for pushing the crowd's limits. Based on available information, the incident likely happened on ECW Hardcore TV on July 17, 1999, when the Dudley Boys attacked a fan and Spike Dudley stepped in. However, the exact story involving Sal Vulcano and the hat slap might be mixed up, as there are no official records confirming those specific details.
For some reason, I thought it would be funny, I have no idea why to this day, to yell out, hey, Bubba Ray Dudley, you fat So, remind you, this is the heyday of ECW. And he was across the parking lot a few hundred feet, right? And I was in line with a few hundred people, so I was like, he's not going to know it was me.
What happened next turned the situation from a simple case of fan teasing into something that went far beyond the line, becoming a real physical confrontation. Sal described Bubba Ray's reaction in a way that sounded straight out of an action movie, capturing just how intense and unexpected the moment really was.
And my friend Jeff was like, Sal, he's charging over here right now. And I was like, come on, he doesn't know it was me, you know? And I turned, and the parking lot was bumper to bumper of cars, and he's jumping over them like fucking Bo and Luke Duke. He's sliding over the hoods of cars, coming at me from hundreds of feet away.
The picture Sal paints is nothing short of amazing. A professional wrestler, right in the peak of ECW's hardcore era, literally leaping over cars to go after a heckler. But the situation didn't stop there. It only got more intense from that point on.
It was stanchions. There was like metal stanchions with chains, and he picked up a chain and ripped a chain out of a stanchion. The chain popped out of the stanchion. I was like, this is just not good. He charged right up to me.
This is where the story hits its peak, the moment of the actual physical altercation. According to Sal's detailed account, things escalated quickly as the tension between him and Bubba Ray turned from words into direct confrontation.
And he took my Yankee hat off me and he goes, what'd you just say? And I was like, I just turned into like Rain Man. I was like, I'm just a big fan, I didn't say anything, and he took my Yankee hat and he just started slapping me in the face with it. That hurts though, just so you know. Like if someone slaps you with all they can with your cap, it hurts.
This moment is especially interesting because it stands as the only recorded instance of actual physical contact between a WWE wrestler and a celebrity found in our research. The event took place when comedian Sal Vulcano reportedly insulted Bubba Ray Dudley outside an ECW show, prompting Bubba to respond by slapping him with a hat. As reported by Wrestling Inc., it was a quick, harmless altercation rather than a serious fight. But what makes the story truly remarkable is how it eventually led to a surprisingly positive and respectful relationship between the two.
I met him backstage at like was it a TNT? What was it? We went to see some wrestling. I met him backstage and I told him, and he goes, I remember you. But it was like 16 years later. And he remembered. And then we literally are good friends now. He's the nicest guy in the world, I promise you.
While Sal Vulcano's encounter with Bubba Ray Dudley was a throwback to the wild, unfiltered chaos of ECW's parking lot brawls, the next feud shows just how much things have changed. In today's era of social media, wrestlers don't always need their fists. They've got Twitter. In 2017, Shane the Hurricane Helms found himself clashing not with a heckler outside an arena, but with none other than Mia Khalifa, who sparked a digital storm with one bold opinion. This clash, known as the Shane Helms and Mia Khalifa Twitter feud, perfectly shows how the modern age has turned online platforms into new battlegrounds for celebrity and wrestler conflicts. It all started when Mia appeared on a YouTube show and shared some sharp criticisms about WWE's direction. According to reports, in December 2017, she criticized Ronda Rousey's transition to wrestling during an episode of Out of Bounds on Complex's YouTube channel. Mia didn't hold back, saying, "This is where her career will go to die. I have no respect for WWE. It's not a real sport. It's embarrassing. You go from real fights to wearing a sequin leotard and pretending to fight." These comments weren't just casual opinions. They were a direct challenge to the legitimacy and value of professional wrestling as both entertainment and athletic performance. What made Khalifa's criticism especially striking was that it hit on one of the most sensitive topics in the industry, the ongoing perception that wrestling is fake or less respectable than other competitive sports. For wrestlers who dedicate their lives to the craft and endure real physical pain, such remarks can feel deeply personal. That's when Shane Helms, a veteran who had spent years building his career in WCW and WWE, stepped in to defend the profession. Helms responded to Khalifa's comments on X with a mix of humor and sharp wit. He wrote, "I'm not going to get upset that a porn star doesn't respect pro wrestling. She's entitled to her opinion. Our bodies take a pounding, and, well, so does hers." His comeback was clever and layered it, respected her right to speak her mind while calling out what he saw as hypocrisy in her criticism, turning the moment into a viral exchange that perfectly blended humor with defense of his sport. The brilliance of Helms's response lies in its layered meaning. On the surface, it was a clever wordplay about taking a pounding, but beneath that, it served as a defense of wrestling's physical demands, while pointing out the irony of someone from the adult film industry criticizing another form of entertainment. This incident is particularly significant because it shows how wrestler-celebrity clashes have evolved in the age of social media. There was no physical fight, everything happened through interviews and online exchanges, with no in-person confrontation between Khalifa and Helms. The aftermath revealed how these digital conflicts can still carry real-world impact. While many praised Helms for his sharp humor and confident defense of wrestling, others criticized his remark for crossing the line and possibly being interpreted as inappropriate. Media discussions around the feud highlighted how every word in online disputes between public figures is analyzed from every angle, showing how easily humor can spark controversy. But while Helms kept things witty, Randy Orton took things to a whole new level. The next feud didn't just cause a stir, it exploded. When Soulja Boy decided to take shots at wrestling, he had no idea he was about to start a full-scale war with the Viper himself. And as it turned out, things got ugly fast. Few celebrity versus wrestler feuds have been as explosive, entertaining, or well-documented as the 2021 social media war between WWE superstar Randy Orton and rapper Soulja Boy. This clash became the perfect storm of ego, online amplification, and genuine hostility that can erupt when two larger-than-life personalities collide in the digital arena. The feud began with what seemed like a harmless post that quickly spiraled into one of the most heated online exchanges in wrestling history. According to reports, it started in February 2021 when Soulja Boy tweeted, "Rap game faker than WWE," which immediately drew backlash from wrestlers, including T-Bar, who defended the physical demands of the sport. However, it was Randy Orton's entry into the conversation that transformed it from a small dispute into a full-scale online war. On March 2nd, 2021, Orton fired back with a series of intense and personal posts, writing, "Fake? Dare this punk to step up. He don't like movies? Consider us actors who do stunts without pads, 200 days a year. And don't be surprised when we get surgically repaired and come right back. We're 100 times tougher than anyone you've met. Ain't nothing but a big ass." Orton's response perfectly captured the frustration many wrestlers feel when their industry is dismissed as fake, reminding everyone just how real the sacrifices behind the spectacle truly are. Orton didn't just defend wrestling, he broke it down. He explained in detail the physical and mental toll wrestlers endure, comparing them to stunt performers, but emphasizing that wrestlers perform all year long without the benefit of protective gear or long recovery breaks. His words painted a clear picture of the grit, pain, and dedication behind the spectacle. Soulja Boy, however, wasn't intimidated. He fired back with equal intensity, replying, "Do you know who the expletive I am? I'll bring the real to wrestling. Don't play with me, Randy Orton." The back and forth quickly escalated, with Orton daring him to come to my world and say that. But Soulja Boy didn't stop at social media. He took things further on his own streaming platform, launching into a passionate rant that offered surprising insight into his mindset. During the live stream, he spoke at length about his frustration, his views on wrestling, and why he refused to back down from one of WWE's biggest names, turning a Twitter spat into a full-blown public spectacle.
What you talking about, nigga? I'll come to the WWE and smack the shit out you, but that shit not real. Go to jail for that shit. That shit illegal. If I smack you, I'ma catch a charge.
This escalation showed just how personal these kinds of conflicts can become. What began as a simple argument about wrestling's legitimacy quickly took a more serious turn when Soulja Boy brought up accusations of racism, adding a deeper and more sensitive layer to the feud. His frustration was clear as he spoke about what he felt were unfair attacks on his character and his place in the industry. As the exchange went on, his responses grew more emotional and confrontational, turning what started as a social media argument into a heated war of words fueled by pride, anger, and a desire to be taken seriously.
If I come to the WWE and we fight, it's gonna be fake. Pussy ass. Set that shit up in the UFC or set it up on the streets or set up a celebrity match where I can really beat your ass for real and don't get in trouble for it.
This part of Soulja Boy's statement is especially revealing because it shows that he understood the difference between WWE's scripted world and real-life consequences. He admitted that while he wanted to confront Orton in person, he also knew that doing so could lead to serious legal trouble. His rant then escalated into a direct challenge, reflecting his growing frustration with what he saw as the staged and predetermined nature of professional wrestling, and his desire to prove that his own toughness and authenticity were not just for show.
You a broke ass. You worth 11 million. You just lost like 10 million. I'm worth 30 million. You broke. You ain't got more money than me. You irrelevant. The WWE is fake, and I stand on that.
This moment perfectly captures the core conflict of the feud, Soulja Boy's craving for a real, unscripted fight, clashing with the scripted nature of professional wrestling. His challenge to take things to the UFC, or even the streets, showed just how frustrated he was with what he viewed as the artificial limits of the wrestling world. But perhaps the most revealing part of his rant was his focus on the financial and career side of things, as he seemed to weigh the potential risks and rewards of continuing the feud, recognizing how public conflicts like this could both damage reputations and boost visibility at the same time. Despite all the heated back and forth, the feud between Soulja Boy and Randy Orton stayed confined to X, with no physical confrontation ever taking place. The two traded insults for several days, but they never met in person, and eventually the tension faded without any further escalation. However, if Soulja Boy thought things got messy, Cardi B was about to take things to a whole new level. What started as a lighthearted WWE shoutout quickly turned into a cultural firestorm. One moment, WWE casually mentioned Cardi B in a fun segment, and the next, Lacey Evans went off script, turning a harmless reference into a full-blown feud that hit nerves far beyond wrestling. The 2021 clash between rap superstar Cardi B and WWE's Lacey Evans became one of the most surprising and potentially career-defining celebrity wrestler confrontations in recent memory. It showed how fast social media can turn a joke into controversy and how easily misunderstandings between big personalities can spiral. The story began during WWE Raw's Legends Night in January 2021, when Tori Wilson playfully mentioned Cardi B as being in another room, setting up a comedic segment. The reference was part of a scripted storyline mixing reality with kayfabe, as wrestling often does. But when Cardi B, always active on social media, saw the clip, she jumped in with her trademark humor and mock outrage, tweeting, "WTF, this is not how my WWE debut was supposed to be. Vince McMahon, count your expletive days." Cardi B's initial tweet was clearly meant as a joke, showing her amusement at being mentioned on WWE while playfully teasing Vince McMahon. But what followed quickly turned a fun exchange into something far more serious. Lacey Evans, known for her sassy Southern Belle persona and her background as a former Marine, decided to respond in character. She replied, "Careful what you wish for, you nasty. We aren't Nicki Minaj. You'll get sent home with more than a busted eye." That one message instantly escalated the situation. Evans's comment carried several layers of provocation. It called Cardi nasty, referenced her past feud with Nicki Minaj, and even hinted at physical violence. The mention of Nicki Minaj was especially bold, since it touched on a real-life conflict between the two rap icons that had involved an actual altercation. By bringing that up, Evans was essentially suggesting that Cardi wouldn't stand a chance against her, using her military training and wrestling persona as a threat. Cardi B's response made it clear she didn't take the comment lightly. She saw it as disrespectful and possibly laced with racial undertones, showing that what began as playful banter had quickly crossed into deeply personal territory. Cardi B fired back with, "A white woman can't never put fear in me, sweetie." Got me expletive up. I was showing love to WWE the whole night yesterday. I don't know where the expletive you came from with your unnecessary nonsense. Her response added a personal and racial layer to the exchange, showing that she viewed Evans's comment not just as part of a wrestling storyline, but as a racially charged insult. This reaction is significant because it highlights how quickly entertainment banter can cross into real-world tension when issues of race and respect are involved. Cardi's mention of race suggested she believed Evans had gone beyond the boundaries of normal promotional trash talk and into more serious territory. What makes this moment particularly important is the possible long-term effect it had on business opportunities. Within wrestling circles, the exchange is often cited as a rare instance where a wrestler's in-character provocation triggered a genuine emotional reaction from a major celebrity. Reports and fan discussions have since speculated that the incident might have hurt potential collaborations between Cardi B and WWE, including a rumored WrestleMania appearance. An August 16, 2023 post by the Black Guy Wrestling podcast even suggested that Evans may have fumbled the bag on a possible partnership. Reactions were divided. Some fans, like user at GoldenForce772, argued that Evans did the public a favor by preventing what they saw as an unnecessary celebrity crossover, while others criticized the exchange as a major missed opportunity for WWE. Others, like Ashik were more skeptical about the whole situation, joking, "Well, y'all would have complained about her performing either way if we're being honest." Lol. This mix of reactions highlighted the ongoing debate around celebrity involvement in wrestling. Some fans see it as a great way to bring in new audiences, while others think it cheapens the product and distracts from the in-ring talent. The Cardi B and Lacey Evans clash perfectly illustrated the difficulty of balancing scripted wrestling drama with real-world social media reactions, especially when celebrities respond to in-character comments as if they were personal attacks. But while that feud stirred emotions around race, respect, and reputation, the next celebrity wrestler conflict came from an entirely different angle and an unexpected name. It involved none other than Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin. A lifelong wrestling fan, Culkin had watched Bill Goldberg defeat Bray Wyatt live on TV and decided he had seen enough. Spoiler alert, Goldberg didn't appreciate it. The 2020 online confrontation between Macaulay Culkin and wrestling legend Bill Goldberg became a fascinating example of how generational differences in wrestling fandom can spark conflicts between entertainment icons from completely different worlds. It all began after WWE's Super Showdown event in February 2020, when Goldberg defeated Bray Wyatt, also known as The Fiend, to capture the Universal Championship, a booking decision that drew heavy criticism from fans who felt WWE was once again favoring part-time legends over younger, full-time talent. The match itself sparked major controversy for several reasons. At 53 years old, Goldberg was viewed by many fans as a legend from wrestling's past, who was unfairly taking the spotlight from younger, full-time talent. Meanwhile, Bray Wyatt's Fiend persona had been carefully built up as an unstoppable monster, so his sudden defeat at the hands of a part-time veteran felt like a major setback for months of storytelling. That's where Macaulay Culkin, best known for his iconic Home Alone role, entered the picture. A lifelong wrestling fan, Culkin didn't hold back his frustration. After the match, he took to X to voice his disappointment, revealing that he had canceled his tickets to WrestleMania 36, scheduled for April 2020 in Tampa Bay, as a form of protest. His post came in response to a parody account joking about WWE's so-called strategy of building new stars like Goldberg, to which Culkin sharply replied, "I've just canceled my tickets to Tampa Bay." It wasn't just a throwaway comment, it was a direct statement against what he saw as WWE's outdated booking philosophy. What made Culkin's critique sting even more was that it came from someone who genuinely loved wrestling, not an outsider mocking it. He continued engaging with fans online, replying amen to one user's criticism, and even joking that he'd rather see Gilbert, the comedic parody version of Goldberg from the Attitude Era, beat Wyatt instead. His comments showed that his frustration came from deep wrestling knowledge and real fandom, not casual disapproval. Goldberg's response was immediate and perfectly in line with his tough guy persona. The next day, on February 28, 2020, he fired back on X with a short but cutting post. Duly noted dork, accompanied by thumbs up and angry face emojis. The dismissive tone captured the very arrogance fans often criticized him for, as it brushed off Culkin's legitimate concerns about WWE's reliance on part-time veterans. But Culkin didn't back down, he replied with sharp humor, tweeting, "Just don't try to tombstone me," referencing Goldberg's botched tombstone piledriver against The Undertaker at Super Showdown 2019. The comeback was both funny and brutally accurate, calling out the physical decline of aging wrestlers while showcasing Culkin's genuine wrestling knowledge. Their exchange quickly went viral, symbolizing a deeper generational divide in wrestling between nostalgia-fueled booking and fans' growing demand for fresh talent and modern storytelling. What makes this feud particularly striking is how it transcended typical celebrity banter to tackle deeply moral and cultural issues. In early 2012, CM Punk, known for his straight-edge lifestyle and outspoken nature, publicly criticized Chris Brown over his history of domestic violence, specifically referencing his 2009 assault on Rihanna. Punk's comments weren't part of a storyline or promotional stunt, they came from genuine conviction. In a now-famous tweet, Punk declared he would like to choke Brown out, not out of hatred, but because putting your hands on a woman is the most cowardly act imaginable. Brown's response was immediate and defensive, mocking Punk's wrestling career and implying that the wrestler used steroids, a claim Punk firmly denied, while challenging Brown to a charity fight for victims of domestic abuse. The exchange quickly escalated, drawing massive media attention and sparking widespread debate online about redemption, accountability, and the power of celebrity influence. What set this feud apart from others was its gravity. It wasn't about fame or ego, but about values, using the platform of social media to ignite a real conversation about violence and responsibility in the public eye. The backstory is key to understanding why this feud burned so hot. CM Punk, a wrestler known for his straight-edge lifestyle and outspoken moral stance, publicly clashed with singer Chris Brown in 2012 after Punk condemned Brown for the 2009 assault on Rihanna, and their spat stayed on social media and in the press without ever turning into a physical fight or a WWE storyline. Punk's straight-edge beliefs avoiding drugs, alcohol, and tobacco were central to his identity and informed his insistence on personal responsibility, which made Brown's past behavior especially abhorrent to him. In February 2012, Punk started the confrontation on X by calling out Brown for the Rihanna incident and daring him to fight somebody that can defend themselves, even suggesting a WrestleMania moment where he would curb stomp that turd, a comment loaded with moral outrage rather than promotional showmanship. Brown fired back by mocking Punk's wrestling career and accusing him of using steroids, claims Punk denied while pushing the exchange into the public eye by proposing a charity fight to raise awareness for domestic violence victims. The whole episode drew intense media attention because it mixed real ethical outrage with celebrity theatrics, turning a personal moral stand into a widely debated public showdown about accountability, violence, and how much celebrities should be held responsible for their actions. These accusations cut to the very core of CM Punk's identity. For a man who had built his entire persona around being straight-edge, drug-free, disciplined, and morally grounded, Chris Brown's steroid insults weren't just cheap shots. They were a direct assault on everything Punk stood for. Punk's response was immediate and uncompromising as he released a video denying the claims, reaffirming his straight-edge lifestyle, and challenging Brown to a no-holds-barred charity fight, declaring, "I will choke you out, and I will make you feel as weak and as powerless and scared and alone as any woman who has the misfortune of knowing a sad, cowardly little boy such as yourself." This powerful statement wasn't a wrestling promo, it was a genuine expression of moral outrage. Punk's words reflected deep empathy for victims of domestic violence, while simultaneously defending his integrity and values. His response turned what could have been a fleeting celebrity spat into a moment of moral confrontation, where principles, not publicity, took center stage. By vehemently denying steroid use in public, CM Punk defended not just his physical accomplishments, but his entire philosophy of life, rooted in discipline, straight-edge principles, and personal accountability. What makes this feud stand out from typical celebrity wrestler conflicts is its authenticity despite his mention of a WrestleMania moment. Punk never intended to work with Chris Brown, clarifying in interviews, including one with the Chicago Tribune, that his challenge was genuine and not a promotional stunt. This underscores that Punk's anger was real and morally driven rather than self-serving or storyline focused. The feud drew widespread media attention, with figures like Conan O'Brien commenting and Punk making multiple appearances, demonstrating that the clash resonated far beyond wrestling and music fans, touching on broader cultural debates about domestic violence and celebrity responsibility. Punk's stance highlighted his long-standing commitment to social justice, and he later predicted that karma would catch up with Brown while the rest of the world, including himself, would simply watch and say, "I told you so," taking no further action, reinforcing that his engagement was principled rather than performative. Despite CM Punk's challenge for a charity fight, no physical confrontation ever took place. The feud remained confined to X posts and media commentary, which only reinforced the seriousness of Punk's stance. He wasn't seeking publicity or entertainment. He was making a moral statement about accountability, consequences, and personal responsibility. The incident's impact extended far beyond the immediate back and forth, showing how wrestlers, like other public figures, can use their platforms to address serious social issues. Punk's willingness to call out Chris Brown, even at potential risk to his own career, demonstrated moral courage that resonated with fans and critics alike. Public forums, like Shirog, later debated the hypothetical fight with varying opinions on the outcome, but these discussions were purely speculative and highlighted how the feud continued to capture the public imagination, sparking conversations not just about a potential fight, but about ethics, responsibility, and the power of using celebrity influence for social commentary. Bringing this story to its conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more similar content. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more similar content.